I must confess, the real authority was excited for Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Dominion was terrible. I was disappointed by it immensely. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of the Jurassic World movies aside from the first one and the first two Jurassic World movies until this January, and the consistency in this franchise is really non existent, with Dominion coming out 3 years ago, still making bank, but leaving critics baffled. Of course, audiences had a different reaction, so I don't want to take it away from them, the excitement that they felt or any amount of enjoyment they had. For me personally, it was just a shameless cash grab that wore it on his chest and just crawled along to an underwhelming climax. But I will admit the fact that David Coep was the screenwriter, he wrote the original Jurassic Park, and if you need a more recent example of how good this guy is, Black Bag. One of the most criminally underrated films of the year, but also one that flopped. But he was one of the reasons why I was excited. Jonathan Bailey also, he was great in Wicked, and I felt he would be great here. However, the production of this movie was kind of quick, for lack of a better word. They originally hired David Leitch as a director, but then they decided to fire him. An absolutely crazy thing that happened. Then they hired Gareth Edwards, and that was like in January of last year, or early on last year, and this is coming out a year later. I don't know, it just felt like the production might have been rushed a little bit. Doesn't ruin the fact that I was actually excited for it. Now, I wasn't expecting anything on the same level as the original Jurassic Park. I think all of us know that that's the best one. I guess I was hoping for something better than Dominion, and actually, hopefully good. Because the last good Jurassic Park movie was World, and that's like the only other good movie in this franchise. Fallen Kingdom was just decent. The rest of the films ranged from mediocre and boring to kind of bad. Saw the film, and I gotta say, it is one of the most enjoyable installments in the series, for lack of a better word, but unlike my other reviews, I'm gonna get into the negatives first before getting into the positives, since the movie is structured in a similar manner. My first negative is that the first 30 to 45 minutes were kind of tedious in a lot of ways. Like, I get it, it's the setup, but I feel like the opening scenes and opening few minutes of the other Jurassic World movies were a lot more entertaining, Dominion included. Like, the flashback that they decided to open the movie with is kind of stupid in how it's executed. I don't know how to explain it without spoilers, but just know, product placement causes something big. That weak intro is followed up by pretty weak developments for all the characters. I'll get into them in a little bit, but I really did not feel that the setup was good. Also, a few of the characters are frustratingly throwawayable. Writing my notes for this thing, I completely forgot about one character. I'm not going to reveal who the person is because of spoilers. It's just a character that has nothing to do and is basically written out of the movie like that. Not in a Vince Vaughn Lost World Jurassic Park manner, but just in a we did not think this through kind of way. Also, if you thought that the villain couldn't get any more obvious in a Jurassic World movie, this movie does nothing different. If you even see the trailer, you will know who the villain is. No doubt, I don't know why every single villain since the original follows the same structural formula, but it's kind of annoying at this point. If you think that dinosaurs are enough, as Chris Pratt once said in Jurassic World, they're dinosaurs, wow enough, then cool. Still, show the least bit of effort, especially with your villain. Also, nothing to do with the movie, but it literally says on print it's optimized for IMAX theaters, and this movie didn't even release in the United States with IMAX formats available, which is very weird. I went to Dolby, but I would have been totally fine with going to IMAX. Like, IMAX is one of those formats where it's pretty much a safe bet. Good movie or bad movie, the IMAX will be impressive in it. Granted, Dolby is impressive too, but it's just so weird I thought I might as well mention that. Now to my mixed elements, then the positives. David Coep is a screenwriter who is very impressive, as I mentioned. However, I felt like he knew he was writing a blockbuster and wrote as such. Not to say that it's a bad screenplay, but there were a lot of moments where it did feel like, I guess, B-tier MCU project. I don't know. You know how much the MCU writing is derided? There are some jokes in here that felt like that, but also includes some dumb moments which did not connect whatsoever. I don't know, it just didn't feel like what he did with the original Jurassic Park. I think it was with more than one person who wrote the script. Here are the screenwriters for the original. David Coep was the only credited writer here. And it just felt weird. Not saying it's bad, but for Coep's reputation, it kind of underwhelmed. Also, they nonchalantly insert an old iconic Jurassic Park meme into this, which was, I guess, quick enough to miss, but for how much I know the meme, again, no spoilers, I don't even know if it counts as a spoiler. If I could show it, here's this meme. But for how iconic it is, it just felt noticeable to me. One other thing before we get on to the acting, Scarlett Johansson as Zora Bennett. I guess she was the only actor that I was kind of hesitant about, And here kind of proves me right for being hesitant. Not saying that she's a bad character. Again, we're into mixed elements than the negatives. She has a lot of good aspects, but it's exactly what you thought she would be for the most part. Basically, Scarlett Johansson playing Scarlett Johansson and our Black Widow. It doesn't feel like she's a character, it just feels like she's playing Scarlett Johansson, for better and worse. Okay, now that we're done with the negatives, we can actually get into the positives of this movie. After the first 30 to 45 minutes of slight boredom, it does pick up with the rest of the runtime, because it focuses up and gives audiences what they want, dinosaurs. Granted, Dominion also gave audiences dinosaurs, but it was complemented by a very convoluted plot. This plot still has a bit of that convolution, I do feel, but it was more focused than your average Jurassic Park movie. And the characters finally start to find their footing instead of feeling poorly set up. In terms of my favorite character, Jonathan Bailey as Henry Loomis, I don't even need to explain why. Like, from the trailer, I kind of thought to myself, Bailey looks the part. He is the character. And that is no different here. He's easily the best character, and he fits in with this world very easily. Maybe one or two times the writing lets him down, but they are more or less comedic moments, not really character-ruining moments. I don't know, it just really felt refreshing to see Bailey stand out among the crowd. That's not denying the rest of the actors here. Mahershala Ali also gave a great performance. I mean, Ali is a talented actor. I was also amazed at how much Manuel Garcia, Luna Blaze, Adriana Miranda, and David Iacono all worked, especially considering the fact that they don't join the main plot for a little bit. And granted, their first scene, like the rest of the characters, was very awkward, very middling. But like the rest of the characters, they evolved to become actually compelling characters. So I gotta give props to the screenplay for doing that. Although I still am 50-50 on whether the screenplay was actually good. Gareth Edwards, he's a talented director. I haven't seen a lot of his films. I saw his 2014 Godzilla and it was fine. However, I will say his directing here was really good, especially when it focuses up and focuses on the dinosaurs. Edwards and I guess Coep seem to take a more horror-based approach on this movie, kind of like how the original was. It doesn't feel like the action movies that the Jurassic World franchise kind of evolved to. It feels more like it's taking the horror elements of the original and the best ones sporadically throughout the franchise and inserting it into its story in a pretty effective manner. Like, I'm not saying this is top-tier horror or that it matches the original Jurassic Park, because let's be honest, again, there's no movie that is going to match Jurassic Park in this franchise. Absolutely none. At least you could be close in terms of matching its horror, but this was kind of close. It was really effective horror. I guess horror is a strong word. I guess suspense is a better word, because dinosaurs are scary. This franchise may have made them seem cool, but in terms of this movie, they are still cool, but they actually have an impact on the plot and make me more invested in the characters, wondering if they'll survive or not. John Matheson's cinematography is absolutely outstanding. I heard that they shot this on actual film, and that made movies like Twisters a lot better, and it's no different here. The cinematography and the colors, they're beautiful. It's probably one of the best movies cinematography-wise in the franchise, and I do give them props for it. Although I do miss the practical effects of the original Jurassic Park trilogy. I feel that with this one, probably because they shot it on film, the CGI is more seamless and less distracting, for lack of a better word. Again, still miss practical, but in terms of visual effects here, they were really shockingly good. One more thing, Alexandre Desplat's score was really good, and it does call back to some of the score bits of Jurassic Park, which I could have found annoying if it didn't do its own thing with the score. Again, no matching the original, but I felt for the moments that they did include it, they were different enough to be forgivable. And also the rest of the score, when it wanted to be suspenseful, it worked. When it wanted to be wonderful, it was. Overall, in spite of its flaws, I do think Jurassic World Rebirth is the best sequel out of the franchise, which isn't a high bar to clear, but if there was one thing I was hoping for Rebirth, it was for it to be entertaining, feel different than the other Jurassic World movies and park movies, which, let's be honest, kind of underwhelm. To an extent, it still has those franchise flaws that we all come to know, but thankfully, despite behind-the-scenes troubles, they were able to make something really entertaining. If you're a fan of this franchise, you were going to see it anyway, and you're probably going to enjoy it, and maybe those who were upset by Dominion will find a lot of enjoyment in this. Just understand that the first 30 to 45 minutes do not set the best overall impression. As it goes on, it gets better, so in terms of the whole package, the Real Authority happily approves. It delivers exactly what you want a Jurassic World movie to do, which the other movies lacked. Amazing looking dinosaurs, compelling enough characters, and the right amount of suspense that was absent from the other movies. So yeah, definitely check it out. End of the video. Happy that Jurassic World Rebirth was good. Let me know what you think about it. So make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and comment if you enjoyed the video. I guess I have nothing else to say. Happy 4th of July, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.